What's up all you cool snakes and neonates? How's it going? I hope you're all keeping well. Got a creepy Theo hanging about in the background there. So let's get into our part 2 of Shelby. If you haven't watched part 1, we attempted to breed her last year. It was going fine until it wasn't going fine. She ended up retaining pretty much her full litter. She struggled with her first 2 eggs and then there was nothing. I had to intervene and help her pop out. I think we got about 8 eggs, another 8 eggs out in the end, but she retained another 4. So we had to drive down to the vets down in Falkirk, an hour and a half's drive each way. So we drove down to the vets, got her some medicines and some calcium boost and stuff like that, pumped into her, and then brought her back home. Here's a little snippet from the car journey back up. So it seems like good news, well, hopefully good news. We managed to do a minimal invasive action. She echoed everything that I was doing, so everything I've been doing has been right. All we did was she put a syringe into Shelby and into the egg and drained the yolk of the egg, collapsing the egg, which would make it smaller. She reckons that the egg was too big. So she's collapsed the egg. She gave her a calcium injection to boost calcium, and she has gave her a hormone thingy. Gave her a hormone up her bottom to help with the cloaca, or the opening kind of thing. Hopefully those 3 things will give her the oomph to push it out. My car's still making that noise. I'll have to see what that is. On another note, I'll give her like 3-4 days to see if she gets rid of it herself. If not, I'll have a look again myself and pop a finger up there, see if I can feel this egg and see if we can get it out. There's no need for any surgery or anything like that yet. I'm pretty sure we've got to this in time that she won't need antibiotics and she won't need anything else other than a good feed. I think that's part of the reason this has happened. She went off her food far too soon and I didn't quite get a chance to fatten her up properly. So I think she's just run out of reserves. I think that's one of the main things that this has happened because of. My lack of experience. She went off food way sooner than I was expecting her to. I wasn't even expecting her to be gravid, to be honest with you. I was keeping an eye on it because she did have to take her in with her previously. This is all on me. It's her first litter too, so that was never going to be an easy one. There can often be complications with first litters. When I used to work on the outdoor pig farm, it was the same with the gilts. The first time mums, there would often be complications with them. We've gotten lucky in the way that I think this has turned out, and I've intervened as soon as I have, got veterinary attention as soon as we have, and fingers crossed, I think Shelby's going to be okay. Now, to catch you up from that point, we got her home, settled her down. I put her in a sort of quarantine 32-litre rub with some kitchen roll in the bottom of it. It was nice and sterile for her belly. I coated her scales that were a little bit damaged in tamidine, which is like an iodine solution, and left her in there to settle down. We left her for about 3 to 4 days, see if she would pass those eggs normally, and of course she didn't. So we had to intervene, which was not fantastic. But after confirming with actually one of Kevin McCurley at Nerd, with one of his egg binding videos, I think it was with a retic or something like that, he confirmed what I was already seeing and what I was already doing was right. It just gave me that little bit of an oomph to be like, right, I am doing this right. If Kevin says it's good kind of thing. And so I went at it again and had a look and got the eggs up, managed to pop the egg up. It came out with a little bit of membrane, so I had to break a little bit of the membrane to get the egg out. So the eggs had obviously overtaken each other. So I popped that one out, and then the next one, and then the next one. Each of them were all in the membrane. The membrane is a very, very thin bit of flesh kind of thing. So I had to break that membrane and pop all of the eggs out. A little bit of blood. It caused her to have blood in her stool. About three stools or 3 poops afterwards had a little trace of blood. You can see on the table it looks worse than it actually is, really. It looks like we've had a horrible time of it, but really this was the best outcome we could have got. We managed to get all 4 of the eggs out, put her into quarantine. Then after a while I tried feeding her and she wouldn't eat, so I put her back in her normal enclosure where she would feel a bit more safe, a bit more secure and a bit more at home. So popped her in there, and we managed to get her to eat kind of in there. So this is now about I don't know, a week, maybe 2 weeks after, probably 2 weeks actually, because I have been suffering with a really bad back injury. It was from like 6 years ago or something like that, and it keeps flaring up, and I had a really bad flare up and I've been crippled for about the past week or two. Not great, not ideal. But now we have had a shed from Shelby. She's literally shed this morning. I watched her shedding. It was fantastic to see her popping out of that new skin. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop out that old shed. We're going to have a quick look at the old shed because she had some damaged scales that I had damaged through rolling those eggs out of her, through pushing those eggs out of her. So we're going to have a look at that, and of course we're going to inspect Shelby herself to see how she's healed and how she's looking on those damaged scales. So we're going to pop her out, we're going to do that, and then we're going to feed her. So that will be pretty good. See if she's going to eat. She has eaten a small mouse. It wasn't a fantastic feeding. It wasn't your typical false water cobra going absolutely crazy for the food. She wouldn't go for it. She was really just arching her back up, being defensive of it. I ended up putting it on her and she arched her back up and pushed her back up against the wood and crushed the rat between her back and the wood, and I just left her with it and then went back in and she had eaten it. So that was good. So she has had a little bite to eat. Now, as expected, this shed is broken up, but that was because her scales were pretty broken up. So it's not her usual 100% shed, but I can give it a quick inspect and have a look at these damaged scales she had on her. So yeah, you can see that scale there. You can see how it's a bit scabby looking there. Doesn't look perfect. So, and obviously that scale's been a really tough shed for her. So that's where the shed's broken, as you can see. And then as we go towards the back here, you can see the other scales there that were damaged. And then right at the vent, right at the cloaca, the opening here, of course this one here was damaged too. So they were basically rubbed raw from everything going on. The rest of the shed, as expected, is totally fine. So let's pull her out and check those areas on her body. Check those ventricle scales. So the scales on the belly are called ventricle scales. Come on, my sweethearts. Oh, you are full of sprite today. She's full of hoods and things. So she is still underweight. She's still almost shrunk down in size. So we got bedding on your face there, sweetheart. So here she is. So let's take a look at those belly scales there. So those are them right there. So you can see they're a bit you can see they're a little bit wrinkled right there. They're not as smooth as the rest of them. However, they are healing. So with another shed, and you can see the ventricle one right there. You can see it's just a little bit wrinkled, but it does have that shiny scale over it. So basically they're a bit scabby just now, but they do have a new scale over the top of them. So that means with our next shed, they'll be completely back to normal and she will be fully normally herself. Oh, she's retained the tip of her scale. She does have some iffy scales on the top too, but again, you can see there, that would have been about the area. Yeah, it matches. So you can see the iffy scales on the top match the iffy scales on the bottom. So that's where the eggs were stuck that I was really trying to sort of push them out, and we've damaged the scales a little bit, but nothing that will hinder her. Now this is a fresh shed. She literally shed a couple of hours ago, so I can get away with pulling this off without soaking her. because it's very fresh. Where are you going, sweetie? But as you guys can see, she's still full of energy. She's still our Shelby. She's full of life. She's full of beans. Quite finished yet, mate. So as you can see, she's full of life. She's full of beans. She's perfectly strong. She's perfectly healthy. She's a little bit underweight, and she has a couple of scabby looking scales, but she's in wonderful condition. Her poops are back to normal. She's back, well, she's never not been herself. She's wonderful. So she's just shed out, so let's pop her back in, give her a few hours to settle down. We've got a rat defrosting downstairs, and we're going to try and feed her a rat properly and see if she's going to eat that how she should eat, and see if she's back to herself. Got a funny feeling after her having this shed, she's probably going to be back to her old self, and if we can get her feeding, we're winning. We're on the road to recovery right here, right now. Yeah, she's looking good. She's looking fantastic. So yes, we had a bit of a hiccup, had that vet's bill to catch up with and stuff like that, but we have saved, it looks like, isn't it, sweetheart? It looks like we have saved our Shelby's life here, haven't we, sweetheart? Look at her. Is that Shelby's? Look, we have not seen the camera for ages. We have not seen the camera for ages. Is that your good side? Is that your good sides? Is it Shelby's? Loads of bedding on your face. Have you been burrowing? Hmm? Oh, you're wheezing. Oh, you're hissing. Even after me poking and prodding, literally poking, she will still take absolutely anything. I could just touch her wherever, however. Falsies are amazing, wonderful animals. Part of the reason I wanted to get them into more homes. Unfortunately, we won't be doing that anymore. So that is Shelby. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like the video, comment on the video, let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you very much for all the support in part 1 of this video. You guys were really awesome with all your comments. I was maybe expecting a little bit of backlash or something like that about this, but you guys were really awesome in the comments. We've got a really good bunch of fans on this page. when they continue to grow. We were so busy at schools and things like that. We met some amazing children. They're getting involved in the comments as well and stuff like that. So thank you everyone who gets involved with this channel. It helps out massively. We're always teetering on the edge of being monetized. We're always teetering on the edge. Wish Upmandale would shut up. We're always teetering on the edge of the of being monetized. So if you guys have spare moments, you guys can make sure you watch as many of our videos as possible. That would be amazing. Boost those viewed hours up, and then we could start working towards being monetized. That would be amazing, guys. So as always, you can subscribe through my ugly mug right there. There'll be a playlist for you right there, and a random video selected for you right down there from me and the rest of the gang, especially Shelby here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
I'm done.